welcome to my channel. My name is Mika, and today I'm going to be teaching you another very simple bread recipe. You see, on this channel we don't just teach you how to make bread, we enlighten you about the science behind bread making. Our recipe for today is flat bread. This is a very unique and distinct kind of flat bread because you can make it in under 30 minutes, and it's a very basic recipe that you can make at any time of day. If you're in Nigeria, you can actually eat this flatbread with beans, with akara, with suya. You can even make shawarma from this flatbread. So let me just briefly introduce you to the ingredients we're going to be using to make this flatbread today. First of all, we have our flour here. This flour is bread flour. If you were with me live last week Sunday, you would have learned a lot about the differences in types of flour we have. But then today we have bread flour for this recipe. And then this is water. Water holds together. Before I forget, let me just give you a little background of the importance of flour when it comes to bread making. Flour does to bread or to pastries exactly what blocks does to a house, because without a block the house will not stand, and so without flour your dough will not stand, your bread will not stand. It gives your pastries the structure that they need, basically, isn't it? And then we have yogurt. Today we have plain yogurt here for our recipe. Now the importance of this yogurt is that it gives acidity to the bread. That is why it improves the texture and makes it softer. If you're making a flat bread and you do not add yogurt to it, it will taste dry and boring. When you add yogurt, it changes everything. It makes it chewy, it makes it softer, it increases the texture, right? And then this is baking powder. Because this is a flat bread, we're not going to be using yeast. Yeast is slower in rising because it has to take time to break down the starch and then to eat the starch and then release carbohydrates, release carbon dioxide inside the flour. But then this is baking powder. It's a leavening agent, and so that's why we're using it today, because the bread is basically a flat bread. And then we have sugar. Sugar is not just used in bread for sweetness. The sugar that we're going to be using in this bread basically is for brownness and for texture. Because without sugar in this bread recipe, the bread is just going to look white and dry and boring. But sugar is going to give it an improved look and also an improved taste. And then salt. I always like to call salt the small but mighty ingredient, because salt improves not just the taste of the bread, but it gives it structure. It helps hold everything together. If you ever make bread and you do not add salt to it, the taste will always look flat and boring. So never ever skip out on your salt. And then last but not least, oil. Oil is very important for making the bread softer and more easy to manage. If you don't have oil, you can easily use butter. But I prefer oil because it's a healthier option. So let's get into it. For this recipe, we're going to be starting with our flour. It's always a good rule of thumb to weigh in your dry ingredients and mix them before you add your wet ingredients. So I'm going to be weighing in our dry ingredients today. The first we're starting with is flour. We have 2 cups. We're going to use 2 cups of flour. Measure it carefully and make sure that if you're using a baking cup, your measurement is always within that sharp line. You don't want to exceed this line, because anything beyond this line is no longer a cup, usually a cup more. It's usually more than a cup rather. So you level it and make sure that you're within that line, and that gives you 1 cup. So we're going in with 2 of this. Can you see this? This is 2nd cup. All right. Next, I'll be adding salt. And I'm going to be using 1 teaspoon of salt. So I have my teaspoon measure here. I'll just look for. Next is baking powder. So I have my baking powder here. I'm going to be adding 2 teaspoons of baking powder. So I'll just open it up and add it into the dry mixture. One and 2. Going to cover this up and set it aside. Next is sugar. I'm going to be putting 1 tablespoon of sugar. One tablespoon of sugar. Now I use my whisk to give them a good mix. You want to make sure that you whisk slowly and intentionally so that all the dry ingredients would combine. Can you see what I'm doing? Good. So I have not added any water yet or any oil at this point. I'm just whisking. You don't want the bread to not have one side will not be tasting salty and one side will be tasting sweet. No, you want everything to have a balanced taste. Let everything combine properly. So we're just whisking here. Whisk for about a minute or 30 seconds to 1 minute to make sure you have everything incorporated in it properly, right? That's exactly what you want to have. So I think I'm satisfied with what I see here. Good. Now I'm going to add my yogurt. The yogurt I'll be using is 3/4 measurement of yogurt, 3/4 measure of yogurt. So I have my 1/4 of my quarter cup here. I'm going to be adding 3 of this into the mixture. Make sure it's level. Remember that line I talked about? 1, 2. That gives us 3/4 of yogurt. Good. So this is good. Then I'll be going in with water. I'm just going to measure half cup of water, but I'm not going to add all of it. The reason being that the quantity of water you use for your bread really depends on the type of flour you're using, how long the flour has stayed, and how thick or how sticky you want the dough to be. So if the recipe calls for 1 cup of water, add the water slowly and measure the consistency as you need. Don't just pour all the water at once because it might be a very, very tricky situation later. So I said half cup of water, right? But I'm going to put a 1/4 cup of water first and then knead it or mix it first. So you can see that it's already coming together nicely and it's even sticky already. So I might not even need to add the other 1/4 cup of water that was remaining in the cup. So you see why it's always good to be careful with your water. Add water gradually. Don't just go all in and add water at once. Very, very important. So now I've removed it from the bowl and put it on the table so that you can actually see what I'm doing, and I want to start to work the dough. This is quite sticky, but don't worry, it will come together. Remember, I've not added oil yet. It's at this point I'm going to start to mix it gradually. Now, this is a fast bread, as I said earlier, and it's meant to be a flat bread. So while working the dough, I'm not kneading it like aggressively. I'm kneading it gently and waiting for the ingredients to really come together in a very, very nice and gentle way. And I'm not going to knead it the same way I am kneading bread that I want to become soft and rise. The reason being that I don't want the gluten network to form completely. Remember that in our last video, we talked about gluten. Now I'm going in with 1 tablespoon of oil. First, the recipe calls for 2 tablespoons of oil, but I'm going to add 1 tablespoon first. Now, flour, especially bread flour, contains 2 proteins. And these proteins form a network called the gluten network. They form structure in the bread. When you add water into the bread, it now releases all the nutrients from the flour that allows it to trap air inside it. That is why the bread can hold gas trapped inside it. So it's very, very important that when you are kneading bread, if you want to make the bread soft and fluffy, you have to allow that gluten network to form completely. But as I said earlier, I'm not kneading this bread to become a soft, fluffy bread. It's a flatbread. Because if I knead it way too much, the bread is going to become too tough in the pan. I'm just going to basically fry this bread because it's a flat bread, but I'm frying it without oil, right? So now I'm going to add the other spoon of oil, another tablespoon of oil, right into this measurement. So right into this mixture we have here. And then I go in gently again. So I'm just mixing it, kneading it to combine, not kneading it to become a soft and fluffy dough, as I said earlier. When you are handling bread, don't ever think about anybody that is making you angry. Always have happy memories, because if you're having negative thoughts when you are kneading bread, you can use the anger to over knead the bread and ruin the whole thing completely. So just detach emotionally from a negative state of mind to a positive and happy state of mind. That was a joke, by the way. But always make sure that you are handling the bread like you're giving it a gentle and good massage, just like you would do for a baby or a loved one. So you see, I just put a little bit of flour into this and I'm working it gently. So I'm folding and turning, folding and turning, folding and turning, like that, folding and turning gently. So let me give you a little backstory about flatbreads. Before people started making bread soft and fluffy, flatbreads were what people used to eat a lot. In some parts of the world, it's basically the bread they eat. Like in India, it's called pita bread. It's what they eat a lot. They eat it with stews, they eat it with soups, they eat it with a lot of things. Flatbreads are very, very easy to make. They are very, very easy to handle, and you can travel far and wide with them because they keep for a long time. So that's it about flatbreads. And if you joined earlier on, you'd have heard when I told you that you can actually eat this in a variety of ways. You can eat it with anything. It doesn't matter. And it's a very, very quick and simple bread to make. So everything has come together. I'm not trying to form a gluten network at this point. Everything has come together, so I'm going to allow the bread to rest. This dough is not yet a bread, so I'm going to allow the dough to rest. Why is it important to allow this dough to rest? Remember I talked about gluten earlier. The proteins inside the bread are very, very tricky. They work very, very well with good manipulation and rest. So when you allow the dough to rest, it allows the gluten networks to form on their own. It allows the moisture, the water you put inside the dough, to be absorbed by the flour better. So it also lets the bread become gentle and pliable. You don't want to skip resting. Resting is a very, very important process, a very, very important part of dough formation. Make sure that whatever you do, you always allow your dough to rest. I'm just gently using the flour to, swipe off most of the excess of the flour from my hands, so that my hand will be a little less sticky. Stickiness is part of the job. It's quite a messy job that yields amazing results. So now, while I'm allowing the dough to rest, we're going to move on to the most interesting part of today's show, which is our filling. Remember I told you that this bread can be eaten with any sauce or any stew at all. Today, I'm going to be making, just guess. I'm going to be making stir-fried chicken and egg omelette with vegetables. I'm going to join all of them and make them like a shawarma style, and put them into this flatbread. You don't want to miss it, so stay tuned. All right, so let me just set this aside. Since I'm done with all of these for now, and then I'll move over to making the sauce. Right, so let's just be able to have as clean hands as possible, so that manipulation will be much more easier. Right, so let me put this away. So I'm just going to be turning up the heat at this point so that I can start frying. I'll start to stir fry my chicken. So I have my chicken here already steamed. I steamed it and it's already smelling really good. Then I deboned it, and this is what I have here. So you can use chicken, you can use beef, you can use whatever you like, you understand, for the filling, but I love chicken, so this is it. So a little bit of oil goes right into the pan. Okay, set this aside. I also have my vegetables looking nice and diced. We have carrots here, onions, and green beans. I'm going to be adding all of that into the stir fry. It's really going to be nice. It's going to be an absolute banger. I hope you can see me. Can you see me? Can you see this? Good. So I've chopped it already. This is pepper. You know, as Africans now, especially Nigerians, you cannot do without that spice. Pepper is everything. Just light it up completely. So I think my oil is getting hot. Now I'm going to stir fry the chicken. First of all, yeah, can you hear that sound? Exactly. So this is good. So let it stir fry for a while. So while this is happening, I'll show you what the bread is supposed to look like when it's done resting. I have, first of all, let me heat the second pan up so that we can start making some bread. I have some rested dough already that I had already cut out. Right. So this one has been resting for a while. I made it earlier. So let's just start making the bread with this. So the same dough, the same mixture, I just rolled it and let it rest further. So all you need to do at this point is flatten it. As I said, it's a flat bread. So what you want to do is flatten it to the point where you get a fine and even level shape. You don't want to keep it rough and inconsistent so that the bread will be able to fold for you, especially since we're adding filling inside. We want to give it that shawarma style. Yeah, so this is it. And then you put a little flour on the surface again, dust it up, and dust this part again so that it doesn't stick to your rolling pin. If you don't have a rolling pin, you can just use a bottle. I know I used to use bottle a lot, or even a spatula if you know how to work it. Nothing should stop you from making bread. Nothing at all. When there's a will, there's always going to be a way. So you see, I set my pan on low medium heat. You don't want your pan to be too hot so that your bread will not get burnt before it gets well cooked. You don't want your pan to be too cold, because if you put your bread in a pan that is not hot enough, the bread is going to dry out before it starts becoming brown. So the bread is going to become flaky. Do you understand? So you have to make sure that the heat is low and medium and it is even. See, it has to be even all around. So you see, at this point, I think my bread is getting ready for the pan. Yay! So, and my chicken is already scenting. God, some people are looking at me in the audience. My daughter cannot wait to taste this. All right, so this is it. I think it is flat enough at this point. So, well flattened, beautiful. Now the pan. Good. This is looking nice. Now let me look at the chicken. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I like what I'm seeing here. I think it's time to go in with the veggies. Yeah, I'm not going to pour all at once because I always like to have some crispy and crunchy feel of the veggies. Like when it's about to get ready, when my stir fry or my omelette is about to get ready, I'll put the last part of the veggies just to give it that crisp and crunch. So I'm just pouring it in, just the half of what I have here. Going in with those, and I'll hold it. Let me turn this. This is looking good. It's really, really looking nice. So this will be a good time to add a little bit of pepper and seasoning to it. So I have my seasoning mix here. Here I have seasoning, I have some curry, I have some rosemary, all mixed into this combination, and this is salt. I'm just going to pour a little bit of it into the mixture. And then a little salt to taste. Then I go with my pepper. This is blended pepper. Let me show you. I just like to blend it and keep whenever I want to use, I just fetch it out and use, right? So pepper poured in, set the side. Then I continue my stirring. So everything just combines nicely. So you can see that I'm going to show you what is happening in the baking pan now with the bread. Something really beautiful is happening already. I said that the baking powder is a raising agent, but it's a faster raising agent. That's why this is a fast bread. You can see the bubbles forming already in the bread. This is because of the baking powder, right? It's making the bread release carbon dioxide. So let's put it back on fire. And then the flour is trapping the carbon dioxide because it has already been mixed, like kneaded to a gentle degree. Not over mixed though, but the level of mixing we have given it is enough to trap the carbon dioxide inside and makes the bread really fluffy and soft at the end of the day. So it really looks beautiful. All right. So I like what I'm seeing here. I'm going to crack open the eggs now. I have 4 eggs. I'm using 4 eggs, right? So I'm going to crack it open and give it a gentle whisk. Have you ever cracked egg before and the whole egg just break inside the bowl? Sorry, you're not seeing what I'm doing. Can you see what I'm doing now? Have you ever had that experience before when you were trying to show skills in cracking egg and at the end of the day the whole thing just breaks with the shell and all? It's happened to me a lot. It's just about practice and confidence. So this is the egg. I'm just going to add a little bit of salt, very, very small, tiny pinch of salt, and give it a good whisk. Whisking it, letting the air bubbles form. I love this part. You see, if you want your egg to look puffed up and foamy, make sure that as soon as you're done with this, you're pouring it into the fire. Do not whisk your egg and let it rest, except if you want to do something else with the egg. But make sure that your oil is hot and you're ready to fry the egg when you do this to it, so that the egg will look very, very, swollen. Exactly. So this is good. And this is going right into my pot of goodness. Oh my God. This looks so yummalicious. All right. Now it's time to flip the bread. Beautiful. See the golden crust that has formed. This is because of sugar mixing with heat. Remember, I told you that sugar is good for browning the bread. So the sugar inside the bread has given it that lovely brown crust, and the smell is really, really divine and amazing. So now that this is happening, I have another resting. So let me just flatten that out. The second one I kept. So just flatten it out and then get on with it so that the other one can be removed when it's ready. All right. So always remember to dust up your rolling pin so that it doesn't stick to the dough. Right? You want to make sure that everything is nice and soft, but nice and soft, but not sticky. Yeah. So at this point, if there are any questions, please feel free to ask me. You're going to learn a whole lot of more explanations. I always give you on our live sessions on Sundays by 4 p.m. Do also join our live sessions on Sunday by 4 p.m. where you really learn a whole lot more and engage more with us. But if this is your first time, you're welcome. This is not your first time, you're welcome again. Thank you for making it a date with us yet again. So I'm here to answer all your questions and read all your comments. So shoot. So, because the flour has properly absorbed the moisture, you can see how this is holding shape. If the flour was too rough, you hadn't absorbed the moisture, it not flatten out like this. So when you're making this bread, you want to make sure that the flour is doing its job properly. It has been well mixed. Your flour to water ratio is good enough. I think this bread is ready for flipping. Oh, not yet, but it's almost there. Almost there. But our scrambled eggs are showing good sign. They are almost ready. This looks really good. Now I want to go in with the second batch of the greens, the veggies, so that it will look so greenish and so colorful. So I'm pouring the entire part of it, remaining part, into the pan and giving it a good mix. I want to really incorporate everything right into it. So this looks really nice. Looks really, really good. I'm sure it tastes good as well. It should taste good. Always, always, always does taste really good. So I'm going to put in the bread. It's done. Can you see what this looks like? This isn't just color. This is a sign of something beautiful that has developed inside the bread. It's a sign of doneness. It's a sign of a very, very tasty and delicious crust. You want to see this in your flatbread. But this part always tastes different. It looks really good. Really, really good. All right. So let's put the second part into the pan. The second batch. Ooh. And it's a go. All right. So I'm done with this. Just put them aside. And then start with the other one that we did together. So it's well rested, right? And feels so nice, so supple to the touch. So now we're going to do something very, very important. Give it a good fold again. A good fold. And divide it into equal parts. How you divide your dough would determine how well leveled it is in the pan. So I'm doing four equal parts and then folding them up and letting each side rest. You can see how it's no longer sticky. It has really rested. And the yogurt inside this dough is everything for the flatbread. Remember I said that flatbreads that are made without yogurt often tend to be dry. This bread tastes and feels supple because of the yogurt. It improves the texture. The acidity in the yogurt improves the texture. And it works so well with the baking soda because of the alkalinity. The combination between the two ingredients really makes for a very soft and tender dough. You're going to learn all of that as you stay tuned to our channel, because we don't just teach you how to bake, how to combine ingredients. No, we help you understand the ingredients, why we use them, what we use them for, so that you can be a scientific baker, right? So that's what 8 Barrel does. Arming you with a lot of information. All right, so we're flattening this one like so. Wow, my stir fry is looking good already. Almost ready. Almost ready. Keeping an eye on it so that it doesn't get burnt. All right, so I'm back. Alrighty. So when you're done rolling, you just flour the surface and keep it aside. Put another little lightly flour it up again so that the next dough you're making does not stick to it. You can see the bubbles forming so nicely and beautifully on this one. And then now we flip over. Beautiful, beautiful. And my stir fry is done. Oh God, this looks really nice. Good, so that's it. That's about it. Now let me show you how to eat it. Okay, let this cool down a bit. Let it cool down. It's a little bit hot, so that it can be easy to manage. So let me quickly flatten these guys so that we can have space to enjoy our sauce that we have made. This is okay. Let me. All right, this is good. So you want to roll it gently and nicely. You don't want to overstretch it and over press it. The pressure you're putting has to be even. You have a bake along with me session every Sunday where you also have the ingredients alongside me and bake with me. I'm looking forward to baking along with you on Sunday at 4 p.m. And on Sunday, we're going to be making another quick and simple recipe. I'm going to be sharing it on our social media handles. So do not subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Follow us on Instagram at 8 Organic, and on Facebook as 8 Organic as well, and also on TikTok. Follow us on all our social media handles so you don't miss any updates that we share. And we're also going to share with you the recipe or the bread we're going to be making together on Sunday. You bake along with me. You bake bread from scratch with your hands like we're doing today, with your simple basic kitchen ingredients. You don't need an industrial mixer or an industrial oven. Even your stove, even your charcoal pot, your charcoal stove can make delicious bread for you. You just need to know how to use it. And that's what It's Bread will show you. How to make bread in very simple and basic steps. That's why we do what we do, man. All right, this looks done. Oh, it's so lovely. So this is good. I'm going with the third. So I'm just going to pick up the one I did. I don't have to start with this one, but I just feel like it has been here since now. So let justice be served. All right. So that's it. This is the last batch of flatbread we're making. Thank you for joining in and staying with us up till this point. Feel free to ask any questions if you have any questions. Do you have a question? All right, that was my daughter. I thought she had a question. Because children always have questions, right? They never run out of questions. It's like from one question to another every single time. That's how they learn about the world, because they are still learning, right? So they ask a whole lot of questions. Sometimes I wish I could be a child again, because there's only a child that can ask questions without looking stupid. Sometimes as adults, we ask questions, we start to wonder if people will not see through us and wonder why we're asking that question. Like, shouldn't you even know why you're asking this kind of question, right? But for children, we excuse their ignorance because they're just children. All right, so at this point, I'm done. But it's good to be like a child, because when you ask questions, you learn. Don't ever be scared. Don't let fear of criticism hold you back from asking questions. If you don't know something, ask. Ask. If you know something but you don't know it well enough, ask. It's only when you ask that you'll be given. And only when you seek, right? That you'll find. So ask. All right, so I'm just putting this aside because I'm done with all of these. Clearing up the workspace so that we can go to my favorite part of the show. My favorite part of the show. If you know me very well, you know that I do not joke with my food. All right. So I'm just going to rub a little bit of oil to this while it's still hot before it cools down completely, so that it becomes even softer, right? Since I want to fold it, so I just want it to be easy to work with, right? So this just helps texture and everything come together. All right. So now perfect. Okay, I think it's time to flip it over. Oh, not yet time, not quite time. Just a little more time is required for this. It's not quite ready yet, but it's time for us to work our magic. with this bread, this flat bread. Oh God, can you see this? I love it. I love it so much. All right, so whoosh, now it's time to fold it. Now it's time to fold it. So you just simply, okay, this is the inside. You just simply take a few scoops of the sauce you have made. Nice looking sauce, by the way. All right, let me show you exactly what I'm talking about here. Good. Looking, looking delicious. Absolutely delicious. Right. Everything is coming together nicely. And just make a wrap of this, right? Gentle wrap. Oh my goodness, set it aside. And here you have it. Doesn't it look like shawarma already? My people here cannot wait to taste it. And we'll all taste it as a family together. So that you see that this makes for a very, very simple breakfast that you can enjoy with your family without stress. Bread in minutes. Bread in minutes, right? So making a second one now. And you can see how this looks already. So making another gentle fold and yet another. And this is it. If it is beans, you can just wrap it in here and just eat it with swag and finesse. So plating it, and we can create space for all of them. All right, let us turn the other one. Nice. So this works so well with chilled drinks. And today I have chilled zobo. We're going to enjoy this with chilled zobo, Nigerian zobo that I made. I cannot wait to have this. So I'm just going to cut this up because all of us want to taste this at the same time. So that it can be no partiality. Let's call it that. That everybody can have a taste of this delicious goodness. Oh God, looking really nice and good. I didn't forgotten my picker in the pan because I've seen bread. I love bread. You know, I love bread. All right, so let me get this over. All right. Oh, my chuzobo is here. It's really nice. Now, let me taste my flat bread. God. This is shawarma. Even better. Oh. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Wow. Mm, mm, mm. I can't even drop it. Mm. Mm. It's family time. My family is itching. We cannot wait. All right. Join me. Go ahead. How do you like it? Very nice. Mm. She loves it. Mm. So guys, this tastes real good. Mm-hmm. Let me have another taster. I can taste it. Mm. Mm. Fine. Beautiful. You see, he signed it. That's sign language. Fine. Sweet? Yes. Yay. Nice one. Good. And then one more person. Here's yours. All right. So I won't let this part go to waste. Hmm? All right. So it's the browning. So guys, I hope you've seen how to make very, very easy flat bread in minutes, right? With our delicious filling that we had. So I'll be looking forward to seeing pictures of what you have made at home with what you have learned today. Thank you so much for joining our class today, and see you tomorrow with another very, very easy recipe that you can make in just minutes. Thank you so much for watching. Catch you tomorrow.